Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so in yesterday's video, I was looking at a target of around .173. We're getting super close to that target right now. We're sitting at around .165. We broke this Fibonacci retracement level going to the upside. I think that's another sign that we might be still heading up to this target, or we were able to break through that Fibonacci retracement level. The other thing we've been watching is this flag pattern. We had this big run up and then we had consolidation going to the downside, this little falling channel, something like that. I was saying if we can break the top right here going to the upside, then maybe this will be a bull flag. We can drag from the bottom of the pole to the top of the pole, something like that. And we have this little line right here, drag this to the breakout, and we're looking at a target of approximately .17367, somewhere around there, which lines up with that 38% Fibonacci retracement level. Let's go ahead and zoom out and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So when we had this big run up, we started falling down. Once we have a run up and we start thinking we're topping out, then we can get the Fibonacci retracement chart tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and that gives me levels to watch. And I like watching these levels because sometimes they act as support and sometimes they act as resistance. Or resistance. We had support right here, support right here. In general, they act as support and resistance. And once we break them, going to the upside or to the downside, then we can start looking at the one going either up or down. And right here, we broke the one going to the upside. I'm wondering if the next spot we're going to be looking at is .173. The other thing that I've been watching for a while is this big falling channel pattern on Dogecoin. I'm on Dogecoin on the 4-hour time frame. You could also look at it on the daily time frame. Let's actually switch to the daily real quick. So I've been watching this falling wedge, something like that. We broke that going to the upside right here. We had a little bit of trouble at this point with the 180 moving average, and I was talking about in yesterday's video, we came up, hit the 180 moving average, got rejected, started heading down, came up, tested it, got rejected, and started heading down. But right here, we actually broke above it, and I was saying maybe we can come back, retest it, and get a bounce to the upside. That's kind of what we did. So we didn't actually, so we broke this Fibonacci retracement level going down, but we got support on the 180 moving average and started heading back up. And yeah, so the other thing is that falling wedge pattern. In the falling wedge patterns, once we break it going to the upside, then we can start looking at the previous resistance levels for targets. We came up, hit the first one at .139 approximately, came up, hit that target, and then broke through it. And then the next target would be .173, and then the next one would be around .220. We have to get through this target first. Let's go back to the daily time frame. We have to get through this target first before we can come up here, obviously. But this is the next place that I'm looking at, that 38% level, the flag pattern target, and that Fibonacci retracement level. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. Like I said, we broke through this 50% level sitting at .156. So the next spot that I'm looking at is .173 as long as we continue to head up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-hour time frame. We have a couple trends that we're looking at right here. We have support. Let me draw them. We have support, giving me a trend line going to the upside, so we're on that uptrend. And then we also have this support, maybe something like this, where we had support, and then giving me another uptrend. We haven't broken either of those yet. Let's see if we can continue to ride on this one. It looks like we had a nice big run up, but it looks like we might be cooling off a little bit. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to have to come back down, retest that Fibonacci retracement level, and then come back to the upside or come back up here. If we start breaking these trend lines though, then it might be a signal that we might have already, I don't know, we'll have to see. But if we break this going to the downside, then we might be looking at the Fibonacci retracement level. If we break this trend line going to the downside, then we might be looking at the next Fibonacci retracement level. But until we start breaking those, then I'm still looking at .137, which is, like I said, the previous resistance on that falling wedge pattern. Yeah, that kind of, I think that about, well, let's look at the daily time frame real quick before we go. Or like the moving averages, should I say. The moving averages are looking good. I think the monthly, let's go ahead and just delete everything real quick. Let's delete these trend lines just so we can get a clear picture of the moving averages. So on the daily 9 moving average, we have this line right here, and like I've been talking about, once we break above the 9 moving average, we can find support on it and push us to the upside. And if we break below it, like right here, when we come into contact, we're gonna get resistance and push to the downside. We broke above it right here. We were getting support on it. We had a nice little run to the upside. We tested it. We came through, broke it, but we broke back above it within a couple days, and now we're above it again. We came back down, retested it, and now we're bouncing to the upside again. This is on the daily time frame. I really like watching the daily 9 moving average, but let's head over to the weekly as well, because we could use these on the different time frames. The bigger the time frame, the better, pretty much, because it's just going to be better. So over here on the weekly, we actually broke above the 9 moving average right here, came back down, tested it. We were bouncing in between the 180 moving average and the 9 moving average, pretty much. We were bouncing in this area. We broke above that 180 moving average, and then now we're getting nice green candles. Let's go ahead and take a look at the monthly too. So I've been talking about this chart or this time frame as well on my channel. We have 2 days and 12 hours for us to close this candle above the 9 moving average right here. Same thing, if we break below it, then we can get resistance on it like we had been in this area right here. But once we break above it, then maybe we can start using it as support, maybe come back down, retest it, and start bouncing to the upside. So we have 3 days and 12 hours to close this candle on the monthly time frame. If we can do that, then I think that'll be a good sign for Dogecoin. Hopefully we can stay above the 9 moving average and start using it as support as opposed to getting resistance on it. It is a good sign though that we are above it on the monthly time frame though, in my opinion. So yeah, let's go back to the 4 hour. We're super close to my target, getting really close. We are having a little bit of trouble in this area right here, but let's see if we can continue to break up. It's only like, let's see how much more percentage from where we're at. We're only like 5% away from getting to the target that I was looking at. And from that Fibonacci retracement level where I called it out to where we're at now, we're up like around 18% so far. So, but yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at. I'm still looking at that target. We're up 18%. If you're doing 10x leverage, that's like 180%. So, I mean, it's possible that we need to start cooling off. Maybe we need to come back down and retest this 50% level, and then we'll be able to bounce to the upside. But yeah, looking good, pretty good on Dogecoin today and yesterday. Yeah, let's see what else we can look at. Let me take a look at the Dogecoin to Bitcoin because I was also checking this out. Let's see. Let's go to the daily time frame. I'd been watching this little triangle pattern right here. We had resistance. Let's see. We had resistance, support, giving me this little triangle pattern, kind of. Not perfect, but we definitely had resistance. We broke that going to the upside. Ever since then Dogecoin's been outperforming Bitcoin. This chart, if this chart's going down, then that's good for Bitcoin. If this chart's going up, then it's good for Dogecoin. Ever since we broke above here, it's been better to be in Dogecoin. And we have another resistance level that we're watching right now. We have resistance, giving me this trend line right here. It looks like we're coming into contact, or we came into contact with that right now, or we just finished coming into contact with that. I think if we could break above that resistance level, then that's going to be another good sign for Dogecoin compared to Bitcoin. If we could break above this, then being in Dogecoin will be better than being in Dogecoin, in my opinion. I think we might get another little bump up if we can break through that resistance trend line right now. And right now we're testing it, but we did break out of this little resistance. Let's see if we could break out of this next one right here and get a nice little pump to the upside. You might be looking at this previous resistance over here as a top, but we'll have to wait and see how far it can go to the upside if it breaks right here. But if it does, then that's going to be a good sign for Dogecoin. Let's see what else we got. Let's look at Bitcoin real quick because we've also been looking at this on my channel a little bit. We have resistance, support. We've been basically in this little channel pattern. It looks like we're actually breaking it right now. Let's go ahead and delete some of this stuff. Let's just move these over. We're actually breaking that resistance right now though, right here. And like I've been talking about, if we can break out of here, then maybe we can start looking at maybe dot 122, because we have this cup and handle pattern. In a cup and handle pattern, we have this little round bowl thing, and then after that you get a falling channel to the downside. And what you can do is drag from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup, something like that. Drag that to the breakout once we break that channel, and we could be looking at a target of around dot 124, or not dot 124, 124,000, 122, 123,000, somewhere around there. I've gotten different measurements in that, but it's somewhere around there. Right now we are breaking it, but I would like to see I would like to see more volume come in down here on the volume indicator. But yeah, it looks like Bitcoin's doing pretty good. We're breaking out right here. Like I've been talking about, I think there's 3 things that we have to do on Bitcoin. We have to break this downtrend right here, which we just did. And then we have to break out of this Fibonacci retracement box, like I was talking about in my last video, or not the last video, but the last little Dogecoin segment, is that when we have a nice little run up and then we start heading down and we think we've kind of topped out, we can draw the Fibonacci retracement box and give us levels to watch as we head to the downside. This one came down, hit that 38% level, and then got a bounce to the upside. I think we need to break. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, break that trend line that we just broke, then break out of the Fibonacci retracement level, which is basically just this top right here. And then we also have this resistance and this resistance giving me this trend line. We need to break out of that 1/3. So number 1 is that downtrend we just broke out of. Number 2 is the top out of that Fibonacci retracement box, and then 3 is this trend line right here. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. Once we do that, then we can start getting more confident on maybe something like this at maybe dot 124, 123, 122, somewhere around there. That's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's moving up, then all the rest of the altcoins are going to do good too. So let's see what else. So Dogecoin, yeah, we're doing pretty good. It looks like it's doing pretty good. I love these falling wedge patterns. They're one of my favorites actually. Boom, 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 boom. Tightening. It's like we're moving down, but we're getting tighter and tighter as we go down. Once we break that resistance line going to the upside, then we can start targeting the previous resistances, which we've done. We hit the first target. We're getting really close to that second target. Once we do that, and if we can continue to head up, then we'd be looking at the next one. But you never know on these falling wedge patterns. We could hit the middle of it and then start getting a correction and then having to go down, or yeah. But like I said, I like playing off the Fibonacci retracement level, so I wouldn't doubt that we came back up here at least and then started to retest maybe something like that, or maybe even bounce right there. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. Next level that I'm looking at is dot 173 though. Let's see if it can go up and hit that real quick and then see what happens. It looks like the volume came in like I was talking about too. Let's go back to that 4-hour time frame. I was looking at this little flag pattern, something like this. We had declining volume, and then that volume came in. This is kind of what I'm talking when I say I want some volume behind it. Sorry, let's see. When I say I want some volume behind it, this is kind of what I'm looking at or looking for. We have declining volume when the pattern starts, and then a volume pop once we actually break out somewhere right here. So I think this is looking good so far as a flag pattern. We just have a little bit more ways to go till we hit that target. Let me know what you guys are thinking though. If you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up, and if you guys want to watch the last video, check it out right here. If you guys are new to trading, check out this playlist right here. I'll see you guys in the next one.